that's sexual in nature. This is Sagittarius. And it's an arrow. The reason that it's an arrow is that Sagittarius is all about going forward. It's all about learning. It's all about wisdom. It's all about philosophy. It's all about the religion. It's all about moving forward. Go, go, go. And when we learn the story of Zeus, here's Jupiter. Jupiter is the ruler. You're going to realize that the ruler of Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, is a whore. And all he does is move on to lover after lover after lover after lover. So the arrow, the symbols, these are called glyphs, all mean something. But Sagittarius people rules by the hips, and the hips are sexuality. So people that have problems with hips, they have issues with sexuality. Like I told you about my client this morning. She had her left hip out of alignment. So there has to be some issue with flexibility, with sexuality on her feminine side. And her husband just died. So it makes sense that she would feel that because she's obviously not having sex and she's not involved. It's been a recent death. So her hip is giving out.
I get hips, well, not hips, but like on my left hip. Like if I sit down for too long, it hurts.
Okay. So
So
there could be
I
an
gotta
issue
look
with
into that.
flexibility, there can be an issue with sexuality, and it's on your feminine side. The left side is the feminine, the right side is the masculine. Okay? This is Capricorn. Capricorn people are very stubborn also, so these are all earth. We'll go through them in a second when we do elements, but these are all elements of earth. Capricorn is the strongest earth sign in the sense of profession. So just like Taurus is the most financially oriented, Capricorns are the most professional. It's very good to go into business with a Capricorn, especially a double Capricorn like we have here. You know they're going to make money, you know that they're going to be responsible, you know that they're going to be successful. Capricorns are very, very snooty. They're very much about success. They want to be successful. Not anyone tell them they can't be successful, they're going to prove you wrong, which we hear from her all the time. Okay? It rules the bones. Anything that's the skeleton of the body, the structure of the body has to do with the bones. Capricorn are the oldest people to live. They're the ones that like never die, that last the longest, are Capricorns. I've got like 3 Capricorns in my life that are like in their 90s. Yeah, because they rule the skeleton of the body. Aquarius. Aquarius people are rational, logical, science. They're eccentric. They don't feel like they belong. They beat to their own drum. Okay? And it rules the nervous system and the bloodstream. And then Pisces, poor old Pisces people, and I'll finish all of the planets in a minute. Pisces rules the feet, and we are the feet of the zodiac, and we're also the doormat of the zodiac. There's a reason why it's the feet. People wipe their feet all over us. The character of a Pisces is a very, very difficult sign. So I went out with my children the other night for dinner, and we went to one of those Japanese places, and you know, people go and celebrate all these birthdays, and they brought the drum, ding, 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 and I turned to my daughter and I say, instead of clapping, I want to cry for all these people because they're all Pisces. So it's like, Pisces, poor Pisces. And I always say I'm going to start an organization for Pisces and their parents so that they have somebody who understands their kid. We're not understood. We are not understood. We are the least understood sign in the zodiac. It is very, very difficult. And the reason You see these two? This is actually the Starbucks symbol. You have Starbucks? Look at is a mermaid on there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the symbol of, and they edited it. That logo in the old days, if you Google the original Starbucks logo, you would have seen her fins higher up. After a few years, they edited it. But that's the symbol for Pisces. And these are two fish joined by a line. And the reason is that in the story, it was a mother and a child running away from someone that was trying to endanger them, and they ran into the ocean, and Pisces rules the oceans, and one of them went up to the heavens, and one stayed on earth. So talk about spirit and matter. We are 99% spirit, and we don't feel material. We don't feel like we're part of this world. Unlike Aquarius that just feels logical and they feel that they want to beat to their own drum, we actually don't feel like we have a body. We feel like we're aliens in this world of form because we are all spirit. So it's a very difficult sign to be. So Sagittarius was Jupiter, Capricorn is Saturn. And I'll give you a handout next week that has it all nice, but so you could write it. Aquarius is Uranus, and Pisces is Neptune. Okay. So let's reiterate. Aries is Mars. The ruler of Aries is Mars. So anywhere that you see Mars on your chart, or anywhere that you see Aries on your chart, it means similar things. Okay? Action, impulsivity, initiation, sex. Wherever you see Taurus and Venus means similar things. Wherever you see Gemini and Mercury means similar things, because they're a pair. The ruler of Gemini is Mercury. So they're all here. The ruler of Gemini is Mercury. The ruler of Taurus and Libra is Venus. The ruler of Cancer is the moon. The ruler of Leo is the sun. The ruler of Virgo is Chiron. The ruler of Libra is Venus. The ruler of Scorpio is Pluto. The ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. The ruler of Capricorn is Saturn. The ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, and the ruler of Pisces is Neptune. So, on your chart, you have every single sign and every single planet. Every single human being in the whole wide world has every single sign on their chart and every single planet on their chart. What does that mean?
That we have a little bit of everything.
That we have a little bit of everything and we're all the same. I call the planets the psychological organs. That's how I describe it. That means that just like you have physical organs, right, you also have psychological organs. Mars is impulsive. Everybody has something that's impulsive about them. It's ego. Everybody has something that's dual about them, or that's communicative about them, Mercury. Everybody has something that's self-centered and narcissistic about them. That's the sun. So every single human being has the same organs, physical and psychological. So when we judge other people, we're judging ourselves, because we have the exact same makeup as everybody else. The difference is that what sign and what house the organs are in, the planets, these, tell you the difference in the person. So you're shorter than I am. That's one thing we have, and she's taller than both of us. Okay? But we all have height. We all have some height. Okay? The organ will tell you, the planet will tell you, oh, this person has communication, but this person communicates like a Capricorn, and you might communicate like a Leo. But we all communicate. Everybody has a Mercury. The sign tells us how. The planet tells us what. And the house tells us where. Now, the chart has every single sign around it. Here's Aries, here's Taurus, here's Gemini, here's Cancer, here's Leo, here's Virgo, here's Libra, here's Scorpio, here's Sag, here's Capricorn, here's Aquarius, here's Pisces. So there's two places where we have everything. On the outside, you have every sign, and on the inside, you have every planet. So every single person has everything. So for someone to say, oh, I don't have that, no. You might have a little bit of it versus someone might have a lot of it. She has a lot of Capricorn. I have little Capricorn, but I still have it. So this notion that people, I don't have anything, or houses that look empty, not true. There's something in there. Every single person has everything. It's just the distribution of it that will make a person different from another person. So everybody speaks. How do I speak? We look at Mercury. Everybody thinks. We look at Mercury. Everybody thinks. The sign is going to tell you how the person speaks or how the person thinks. Okay? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Capricorn, I told you rules. Oh, I told you all the organs. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go to the houses. And I'll also give you a, oh, you sent that to me? I'll also give you a handout on the houses, but I'm going to go through them now. The first house, and they're all numbered. They're numbered 1 through 12. The houses is the scenario. So right now, where are we?
In a classroom.
We're in a classroom, that's a scenario. We're in a building, that's a scenario. We're in Pembroke Pines, that's a scenario. That's the houses. Where is all of it taking place? So your Pisces Leo nature is going to take place in the 5th house. The 5th house has to do with self-worth, self-love, entrepreneurship, writing books, being an artist. That's your scenario of where you're going to live out your Pisces Leo nature. Mine is going to be at home because I am a 4th house sun. So I'm going to be like a 4th house Cancer person. And I have worked from home most of my adult life. I have been a homebody most of my adult life. It's very hard for me to change that. I'm fighting it, trust me. Because I want to be more outgoing. But I have to fight that nature so hard. So the house is the scenario where all of it is taking place. The place where your sun is the most important house in your chart. So you want to know that that's the area where the person is going to act most like that house. So if somebody has a 9th house sun and they don't study, or they don't study religion, or they're not into philosophy, or they don't like to travel long distance, something's wrong with them. They're out of balance. Because the 9th house is Sagittarius and it represents all of that. So that person is going to be love to read, love to travel, love to speak languages, loves to, go abroad. They're going to love to study. So you already know, because the person is a 9th house sun, what they love, what they're like. So you can't pull someone like that out of a university. You can't pull that someone off of an airplane. So if you're married to someone that's a 9th house sun and you expect them to never travel, get a divorce, because that's not realistic. That's what helps us accept another person. That's why astrology is so powerful. Because you get to accept the person as they are. You're exactly who you're supposed to be. And that's what astrology teaches you. When I learned that, it changed my life. It changed my life. You're exactly who you're supposed to be. That's what this piece of paper shows you. I say this is you on a chart. This is you on a piece of paper.
That's deep.
But it's the best tool for self-worth. It's the best tool for self-love. Because if you can look at yourself and go, oh, I'm supposed to be maternal, like Trisha's Cancer Ascendant. Of course she's supposed to be a mother. Right before you guys got here, she and I were talking about her daughter. And I was giving her all this advice. I had not seen her chart, but I was listening with my therapeutic skills on. But if I would see this, I would be like, oh my God, yes, you're a mom. You have to be a mom, first and foremost. Because the chart is indicating that. So it teaches us to accept others as they are, and it teaches us most importantly to accept ourselves as we are. Okay? So the first house has to do with the body, has to do with the personality. The second house has to do with our possessions and our values. The third house has to do with our siblings and the way we communicate. And the fourth house has to do with our family, our home, and our lifespan. And by lifespan, I mean from birth to death. It's one of the only houses in the zodiac that actually tell you from the beginning when you were a child. So something had to happen to Trisha very early on related to sex or violence. It had to, because at the cusp of her fourth house, she's got Mars. So I can just see that. And all the way to her death, I can see she's gonna live and she's gonna die wealthy.
Ooh, that girl gonna get that makeup store.
She's gonna die wealthy, she's gonna die with a partner, she's gonna die maybe abroad, because the fourth house tells me all about the lifespan. So that does not mean that if you don't have any planets in there that you're not living. It simply means that you have to figure out in different ways how to get the information. Okay?
I don't know if this is a planet.
What?
It's like como una herradura.
Okay, those are the nodes. Those are the nodes, and I'll cover the nodes. I'll do that in a minute. Okay? The first 4 houses are called the personal houses. And the reason that they're personal is because they're about the person. They have to do with the early years. So I, being a therapist, especially working in the subconscious, work a lot with the first 4 houses, because that's going to tell me about the first 7 years of life. And the first 7 years of life is when the ego and the personality are created. And so someone like me who does therapy, I would look and see what happened in the first 4 houses.
I have to go.
Okay.
Now, give me the information.
The next 4, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th, are called the relationship houses. The 5th house has to do with entrepreneurship, children, and the way you're going to learn to self-love. The 6th house has to do with animals, work, and health. The 7th has to do with marriage, close friends. And the 8th has to do with sex, taxes, and other people's money. So, First house, you're giving your body. The second house, you're giving your possessions and what you value. The third house, you're giving your siblings and the way you speak. And the fourth house, you're giving your physical home. Personal. In the fifth house, you now have children, you now have a job, you now have a partner, and you now have a business relationship. Then the universal houses are 9, 10, 11, and 12. The ninth house has to do with studying, and that's college and above, and travel. The 10th has to do with your profession. The 11th has to be with clubs or social groups. And the 12th has to do with karma and past lives and secrets. So, if people have a cluster in a certain part of the chart, the personal, the relationship, or the universal, it's going to tell you what their motivation is. So for instance, Trisha has a lot in the relationship houses. Relationship, social connection, that's going to be very, very important to this person because she's got a huge cluster of stuff in that sector of the chart. She also has some planets in her fourth house, which is her physical home and her childhood, her lifespan. But for the most part, the bulk of her chart is in the relationship. Now, some people like me have it splattered all over the place. The first thing you look at is, when you take the chart, where does your eye go? Astrology, besides being an art and a science, because it's both, is very intuitive. It's an intuitive art. So you use your gut. And if I look at this, and the first place that my eye goes is here, I have to be like, wow, this person is it's a lot of relationship stuff. It's important that she have positive, healthy, loving relationships because the bulk of her chart. The other thing I see is this Mars right at the cusp of her fourth house. So that has to be something important. Why? Not for any other reason, but because my eye is taking me there. So when you're doing astrology, whatever you see that your eye is taking you to, trust that. That's the intuitive part of the art. And then you do all the rest. But you get a taste for what you're seeing. So someone like me, I have planets spread all over the place. What would that tell you about my personality?
Scattered.
Scattered, absolutely. Jack of all trades. This person is clustered. This is a person who has a focus on that particular area. Or two particular areas. Because she's got a lot in the 6th and she got a lot in the 4th. The 4th is home, the 6th is work, she can work from home. An example. And she has an ascendant that's a Cancer, so she might want to be a mom first and foremost, so that's why she would work from home, things like that. So it's all an equation. But if someone is splayed or scattered, it's going to tell you about their personality. If someone is concentrated, one of my best friends has everything in the 11th house. She's adopted 2 kids, she's a humanitarian, she runs this school in the jungle that's to help poor kids, of course. Because everything for her is, this is also charity, is social groups and to giving to the universe at a universal level. So it's less personal, it's more universal. Can I help other people? So we have 3 main layers. The sun sign is going to tell you that's the birthday. That doesn't matter what house it's in. That's just the sign of your birthday, okay? So the first layer is your sun. The second is what house is your sun in. That's going to give you the next layer of what the person is. And then the third layer is where are the planets primarily located? In what section of the chart? And then the fourth and last thing, and this is just the basics, and then I'll tell you about the nodes before we wrap up, is the elements. There are 4 elements: air, earth, water,
Fire.
and fire. What are the air signs? Any idea? Okay, so take out your chart, I'm gonna teach you. The first sign is Aries. Aries is what? No, it's fire, okay? So Aries is fire. What comes right after Aries? Taurus, right here. Taurus is earth. Next is Gemini, air, Cancer, water. It's always in that air order. Fire, earth, air, water. Fire, earth, air, water. Fire, earth, air, water. 4 elements, 3 signs each. So Aries, Leo, Sag for fire. Earth is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Air is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. A lot of people think Aquarius is water. It's not. These are air waves. These are not water waves. Okay? And water, you have Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. The thing that's going to tell you the personality of the person is how much of each element they have. So you're going to count how much earth, how much fire, how much air, and how much water. And we're only working with the planets on the board. So, for instance, anything that's aqua is air. Anything that's dark blue is water. Anything that's red is fire, and anything that's brown is earth. So you're going to count all of the colors, so you could put air, earth, fire, water. What you're not going to count is the X or the cross. Did you see that? You're not going to count this one with the X or this one with the cross. You're going to count all the other ones.
The elements.
Of the elements. This is a little different than what we did in class.
Mm-hmm.
So do this one this way. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You, Norma, may not have the black moon on your chart. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm just, it's hard, I can't open that, so.
Oh, you can't open that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's going to be impossible for me to see.
Yeah.
But we can do it.
Okay.
We can do it.
I think I'm doing.
If you want to go to astrolab.com, you can do it right now.
Wait, because I think I'm counting the planets too.
You should have 13.
Because I'm adding up to 14, so I'm probably counting the planet too.
Okay, so you have 1 water, 2 water,
Definitely counted wrong.
3 water, you're not counting that one,
Right, I got
4, 5 water,
5 water.
5 water, 1 fire, 1 fire, 1, 2, 3, 5 earth, and 2, 3 air. So that should be 13.
You said Astro Lab, but you said something with an E?
Yeah, lab with an E at the end, so lab A. So what did you get?
Whew. Got 14.
Yeah, it's up to 14.
Oh,
10,
wait,
13,
wait, wait.
14.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You're right, 14. Okay, so what's your main element?
Earth and water.
Okay, earth and water. What is earth and water going to make? You put
Mud.
earth with water, you make mud.
That's what I was thinking, building sandcastle.
So it's like a clay, like a muddy,
Uh-huh.
okay, that's kind of like the personality. So what would you need to